it's official. We just barely made it under the wire, man. People get so mad at me when I'm like, but we had, listen, anytime Bowman and Patterson get together, I guarantee you there's going to be some technological problems happening. But I think we pulled it off. All right, let me get all my stream set up. Let me get my screen cleared up. And here we go. Help a Teacher, Facebook Live. Every Monday night, 7:00 Central. And this is the thing I look forward to. Like I love this time and getting to reconnect with everybody and the thousands of teachers that participate and watch throughout the week. It is amazing. And here's what I love about this week. This is what's been so cool is, we started this whole pandemic, the quarantine, all that's been happening, and teachers have been struggling to get online and get connected with their kids and their millions of teachers trying to figure out Zoom and Google Classroom and WebEx and all that stuff and Google Hangout. But just like teachers, once they got it. And there's so many, they're just like experts at it now and killing it. And I have seen some of the most inspiring, creative ways that people are connecting with their kids across the nation. It's been awesome, man. So here we go. Let's get into this thing. Today, I am excited. I prepared a picture. Look at her. I prepared a picture and everything. Look at her. HB, Heather Patterson. So I have been a fan of Heather Patterson's ever since she did it was a scavenger hunt maybe in August. That was before school started, and we have a mutual friend in common that teaches there, and I would hear these wild stories and I'm thinking she's lying, like she's exaggerating these stories about the school, which is cool. It's okay. I love a good story, and if you exaggerate it, I appreciate that gets my interest. But then when I finally went to visit what was going on at that campus, it was even more than the stories I had heard. And so I can't wait for you guys to meet her. It's my friend. She's awesome. And Heather Patterson, welcome to the Help a Teacher Facebook Live every Monday night. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Hal?
I'm great. Yeah, you're fantastic. Even you wore your cheetah print for me. Look at you.
I can't even see anything. So I'm hoping I'm on the screen at least.
I promise you are. But wouldn't it be funny, like if weeks later you found out you had a little something going on over here or something right there, and I never said anything?
I know your number. I have your phone number, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Hey, so here's what I want to get into. Before we get too deep in this, I'm going to tell you something I never told you before. Okay.
Oh.
So get this. One day, many times I came to visit your campus. You guys were doing the class cheer, and it's complete chaos, Polly Ryan style, and controlled chaos and directed chaos, but chaos nonetheless. Mm-hmm. And I was in the hallway, and you have to picture this. So I'm coming down the main hall, and I am next to, I'm not telling you who they are. I'm just telling you they are high-ranking administrators, possibly within your own district. I'm next to them, and way down the end of the center of the hall, you come racing across, and there's glitter flying off the back of you. There's a feather boa flapping in the wind, and here comes an AP running after you because he has your keys, and another one has your walkie that you left laying around somewhere. And here comes a third one with a phone, and one of the, I'm not telling who, but one of the people in the group goes, "There goes Hurricane Heather."
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Heather.
So let me ask you this: at what point? So to help everybody understand, you have a unique belief about school and kids and education, and how did that all come about with this whole total engagement and fun and that over the top culture that you created? Like, where did all that start?
Well, I think it's always been down hidden inside of me, but I will tell you that I love kids. Like I totally love kids, and just everything I do and all the decisions I make have always been what is best for kids, not what's easiest for adults, because we know it's not easy on the adults, and it's not easily to work for me either. But I think just in 2006, I got to see Ron Clark at a Thinking Maps conference. And so my principal actually took me to this conference before we opened Velasquez. We opened an elementary together. That was my first AP job. And that man lit a fire in me, his energy, and just like all kinds of, I don't know, it like lit something in me. And from then on, I've been like a groupie. Like I've been a Ron Clark. He's my edu boyfriend, I'd like to say. You're my other one, Hal, I guess.
Oh, nice.
But he lit that passion and that fire in me, and it's just been lit ever since. So, I mean, that's where it all started.
All right, this is what I tell people behind your back. I mean, I talk a lot about you behind your back, but here's one of the main things is that I say this. I said, yes, definitely take the pilgrimage, go to RCA, go to the academy, take the pilgrimage, you and your disciples, and go and bow and do whatever you people do there. But also come back here and hook up with Heather. And at the time you're at Poly Ryan, go see how they do it, because I want people sometimes to feel. I've met so many people when they go to see Ron Clark at his place, they get overwhelmed. Yeah. And it's like, and their first thing is, I could never. And you're right. You could never recreate that. But what can you do? And like what's possible is beyond anything you could ever imagine. Even though it's different than that, it's equally as good. That's what I tell people.
Right. And it's, you have to go in there and find 2 or 3 things. And so I've been multiple times, been 5 different times, paid for myself a few times as well. But you take a little bit every single time, and then you bring that back and you try that, and you can start in a classroom and start small. It doesn't have to be this school-wide thing, and it shouldn't be. You have to have a team to pull off the school-wide movement of houses and the house system and everything. And like, I'm going to tell you what, like when we opened Poly Ryan, and we did dens when we were at Velasquez, but when we opened Poly Ryan, and we started like, this is what it's about. This is the house system. And we started sending people to the Ron Clark Academy until we had enough people that understood it. And then we went full on. And that's what you got to witness some of that. But it takes the whole team. And that team at Poly Ryan, they are rock stars. Like they made me look good. So it's just a team of people that want to do the best for kids, even on the hard days, dress up in blue and glitter. And blue's the best color because Reveur's the best house. If they're on here watching me live, I'm going to get some hate mail in just a second from the other houses. But it's about firing up kids, about being at school and making that competitive, fun spirit. But also, like, sometimes school is a chore, and sometimes kids don't really enjoy going to school. And this is a way to learn life lessons of failing, because not everybody gets a cookie. And that's one of the lessons he teaches. And so not everybody got the trophy, and we didn't get it one year. My house didn't get it one year, but we got it one year. And now we were in line to get it this year. And then this pandemic happened, and oh no.
Yeah.
But it's just life lessons. It teaches you life lessons.
You know what I love about some of the work that you do and what you created over there is, well, there's so many things, but one is, you know, I think as educators, maybe because the way we come into this business and we're conditioned is like, don't get the kids too wild up because you can't get them back. Don't get them crazy. Just let them relax. I don't want the kids after they go to lunch, you know, all that stuff. Well, I think when I would bring all those people to visit, one of the things I would have point out to them is I want you to see how quickly that with the right training and they rehearse it so many times, how quickly they can go from a level 10 absolute chaos jumping around on a table to an absolute level 10 focused, engaged in a lesson within 100 seconds.
And I think the important thing of all of that is that those things, all their systems you have to put in place. So from the very beginning, like it just doesn't happen. You have to teach the kids how to do that. You have to get them wound up and bring them back down and get them wound up a little more each time. So then when you are in those situations where you have those pep parties and you have all the craziness going on, they know what the signal is to bring it back in, and they can do so. And we had almost 700 kids over there. So in a gym at one time. And so if you've taught them those things, you can bring it back in. So don't think kids can't. You just have to teach them. You can't get mad if you haven't taught them how to bring it back down. So teach them the skills that they need for that. And then the rest, as they say, it's history. It just happens. You go straight into a classroom and start learning after that.
Hey, what I was also wondering about is all those wacko teachers that you have. I mean, this is, you talk about a cream of the crop, all in a bunch of bizarre, and and like, I mean that in the best way. It's like those,
Right.
Here's what I always tell people. I say, you know how you're sitting in a meeting and there's 12, 13, 14 other like educators in a meeting or around the table and doing all the heavy stuff. And you think, I'm the weirdo here. Like, am I the only one that understands this on a different level? Like, there's a whole school full of those people over there. Like all the people that get it on a whole nother level, and they're unique and creative, and they do whatever it takes, and not just say the hashtag, but really teach in such a way they do like whatever it takes. I guess I want to know is like, where did you find all those people?
All over. I mean, one of them, she drives from the central of Houston to get to us. I think the important thing is, I think people see that. And I think the important thing is that you can't have a bunch of people on a team that are exact same. You have a bunch of yes men saying yes to everything you're saying. That's not a team. You have to have eclectic personalities and all over the place from one extreme to the other. And we have introverts, extroverts, all of those, and mixed together, that's where magic happens. So when you're looking for people to build teams, I think that's the most important thing that you think about is what does that team need? What are they lacking? What characteristic or what personality are they lacking? And that's what you go for. And when you're hiring them, so you don't hire people that are just like you. Nobody needs a lot more Heather Pattersons or Hal Bowmans in the same room at the same time, right?
Right. Hey, so here's the other thing I was wondering is last week we had Rob Carroll on here, and he was talking about hiring, and his whole thing, he was trying to make it really unique. So he would have interviews Saturday night at midnight at the park in the town they live in. He'd have kids there. He would just try to do whatever it takes to let them know this is something unlike you've ever experienced before at our school. And when you are in an interview, and you have a potential teammate, like somebody you're going to bring into the family, how do you know they're the right one?
So you finish your questions, you answer all of your district level questions and the things that you need to do, and then you start having a conversation and you just talk. And you can learn so much about people just letting them talk, because then all the defenses go down. They're not as nervous. They start getting their mojo going, and you start really seeing the personality come out. We had one teacher over there, Kyle Frazier.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Rucker and myself. I'm trying to remember who else was in the interview room, but we chased him through the parking lot when he was done to make sure we had like his contact information.
Yeah.
So you could ask him, but he was like, these people are nuts. But when you kind of feel it and you think that's the person that's right to fill this spot for that team, you do that. You run across the parking lot and chase them down before they get away and say, hey, I'm really interested in you. Like, we really want or think that you'll complete our team. I think it's
that Kyle dude. I mean, full disclosure to everybody watching, like I went and I saw that dude teach, and it was his instruction, but in addition to that, it was just looking in the eyes of the kids, leaning forward, like you could tell, like they didn't want to blink. They didn't want, like, because they're afraid of going to miss something. And he was filling that role that so many kids meant. Like it was, yes, teacher for sure, teacher. In addition to that, father and brother and friend and confidant and mentor and guide. And watching, man, it was emotional. Like that whole experience was emotional in his classroom.
And he is in the best house. So he's in the house of Reveur, which is the best house, of course. But what I love is that you hit the nail on the head when you were talking earlier. The teachers are so different. So you have the Kyle personalities, and you have the other personalities. You have the quiet personalities. You have the crazy Broussards that's dancing a jig in the middle of the hallway right there in the front in the mornings to get the kids pepped up. You have the teachers joining in, all of those things, right? So I think that's so important to remember, that you have to hire different personalities, because your kids aren't one size fits all. They respond differently to different adults. And I think that's what's really cool about that.
It's amazing. And you're right. It's just like any family, like when you're sitting when you bring everybody to the Thanksgiving dinner table, and there's different personalities within every family. You got the wacky uncle and the crazy aunt and the conservative this and the liberal that. And like in that school family, we want that variety, because we have so many different kinds of kids that come in there, and we want to meet all of them.
So let me tell you a little story. So I was at Polly Ryan up until this year, and then I was asked to move over to the high school, as you know. So this is the kind of cool full circle moment for me. I opened Polly Ryan in 2013. And now in 2020, these seniors that are going through all of this, like, I'm going to try not to cry and get all emotional like that, because those were my first group of kids.
Oh.
So those sixth graders are my seniors. So now I have those 620 are now seniors of the 2020. And so, I am just, I have the most amazing staff now as well. At Polly Ryan, I had 50, 60 staff members. Now I have 240. So every day in our building, there's 3,000 people with the kids. So it's a huge amount of people. So you can imagine my energy right now is sucked dry, because I feed off of energy and excitement and all of those. And I'm just so proud of this high school staff, them rallying around these kids and building that best team, especially this class of 2020. And just, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And that's the heart of a teacher. That's what makes a teacher. When you ask, how can I help this kid? Not they didn't do this or they're not trying. It's what can we do to help them? And I'm just so proud to be the principal at Georgia Ranch now.
Man, I'll tell you that is one of the things. Listen, I really wish this pandemic never happened. There's so much, but if I was forced to find a couple of things that is amazing, is just the heroic level of teaching that happens, and when we remove things like state tests and get all that, and just to see real teaching happening, and the level of creativity and resourcefulness by educators is. I mean, I don't know why I'm shocked, because this is what happens all the time when there's challenges, but it's just these beautiful acts of humanity that happen in the most deepest moments of crisis.
Mm-hmm. And tapping into the kids' interests. So I have teachers that are tapping into TikTok, and Emily Witt, she's like all over TikTok, and she's already like jumping on the TikTok bandwagon of getting all of us in there. She did one today, and we were taking things out of our favorite book out of the refrigerator. And she goes, "Hey, you want to participate?" Absolutely. So I busted out my blue boa and my blue stuff and jumped right on board with that. But I think being able to relate to kids, and during this time, especially for those seniors, that everything's getting ripped away right now. And it's so uncertain of how we're going to be able to move forward and what we're going to do. But I can promise you, over my dead body, something is going to happen for these kiddos, and we will do everything. I will move mountains to make it as special as I can. It's going to look different, but it's going to be special. And that, to me, I hope they know that they are so loved and just cared for.
I think of all of the people in their lives, I think that's for sure. They just have, at this point, after knowing you since the sixth grade, there's just so much evidence that they have that, yeah, man, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. I'll let you know. I'll video it and send it to you. Something I
want to go myself. I want to see what it's.
I'll invite you once we get there. Yes, you're invited.
Hey, when you decided to leave Polly Ryan, which was sixth grade, one and done, like that's the other thing I try to remind people. I said the reason they are so good over there is they have to replicate this every year. It's not like they're seventh and eighth graders that can teach the sixth graders. This is how we do things, and we're a situation where sixth graders just kind of fit into the culture that's already established. It doesn't, like, they have to start from square one, brand new. These kids. And so that's why they're so good at creating the culture. When you were asked to go from sixth grade to 9, 10, 11, 12, was there a part of you wondering, oh my gosh, do I have to tame it down? Do I have to be like serious? Like, is there no more dancing allowed? Like, what are we going to do?
Oh my gosh. You're going to love this story then. So when I was asked to go over to the high school, I was like, what? Because I was an elementary teacher. And then I opened Polly Ryan, and you're blending 7 different elementaries together into one. That's that one and done. But you're creating a community. So we're now Longhorn Nation. So they're a Longhorn Nation till they graduate. And when I got over there, I was meeting with each one of them. I'm like, are these kids going to boo me off the stage? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. But what they were concerned about, they're like, are we going to have to wear IDs with lanyards in the house color? Are you going to make houses over here? Are you going to treat us like sixth graders? And I was like, nope, not unless you act like one. So I asked them what they wanted. So I turned it around and said, tell me some stuff that you want. And so we made some compromises on dress codes, some things that it wasn't necessarily in the generic dress code. I made some give and takes. Like, they got to pick things. And then I said, well, here's where I'm holding steady. And yes, we wear lanyards and IDs and they don't like it, but that's a safety thing. And so that's, when you have 3,000 people in a building at one time, I need to know if you belong here or not. It's really important to me. I promised the parents to keep them safe. And that's just one more aspect of that. So once they kind of got used to it, it's new to them still. They didn't wear one since 6th grade. So it's going to get easier and easier because Mr. Croft took over at Polly Ryan for me. He's doing a great job over there. And Miss Johnson is his AP, and they're holding steady with the lanyard. Their houses, of course, we're not houses. And then 7, 8, Miss Stanzo in the middle. Dr. Stanzo's in the middle. She's holding steady. So by the time they get to me, it's going to be easy.
Yeah. Is it possible to do the house system at the high school, you think?
I don't think it is.
The
I think
scheduling, man.
I think you can. What I want to look at right now, we're just really big. Like we have 16 portable classrooms. So we've outgrown our building, and we're getting a new high school, not this coming year, but the following year. So we'll see a little bit of relief in size. There's a few things I want to bring in there. The house system's not really, I think that is something that's just really special down at 6th grade, to be honest, and maybe at 7th and 8th, but just especially at 6th grade coming out of elementary school. But the high school, that team building aspect of maybe the seniors versus the juniors versus the sophomores versus the freshmen, like them competing that way, I think that's totally doable.
Yeah. Hey, can we go back in time? You know, as you're sitting there talking, I'm sitting here wondering, like, has she always been this into school and making a difference in life? Like, you know, when you were growing up and you're doing your school thing, and was it in your mind already back then that you want to be an educator?
I had no idea what I wanted to be. At first I was like, I want to, like, you know, I went to SeaWorld, so I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Everybody wants to be
work with Shamu, right?
Right.
I want to be there with the whales. And then the next thing, I aged myself the other day. I said I wanted to be an airline stewardess. They're like, why would you say that? It's a flight attendant. And I was like, so sorry. But I was like, those were kind of the things that were in my mind. And I was like, I don't know. And so I actually started a business. Like I went, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I graduated. So these kids that have to make these decisions when they're freshmen of what they're going to be when they graduate and go to college and all these things, I totally understand not knowing what I wanted to do. So kind of went into business, worked for an attorney, did some hostess work at some restaurants, just kind of different things. And then finally was like, my dad was like, yeah, you talk a lot. I'm pretty sure you would be good at education. And my husband's like, you were always a teacher. You just didn't know it. But that's kind of how it did. And then when getting into my master's, I was peer pressured completely into that by my friends, Laura, Jill, and Nora. I'm going to blame it all on them. But it was a cohort, and they're like, do it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And so we all did our master's cohort together, and it was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change a thing. Like I was in the classroom for 5 years, and then I've been in administration for going on 16. So I love the classroom, but I love administration because I get to see all these teachers do these amazing things. I would be such a better teacher had I go back in the classroom right now from all the cool stuff that I see everybody do.
Yeah. Isn't that like the secret? The guys, whether it's, me and Adam DeVico or Nesloni and all like that, that's the thing we all talk about is just like you, like, isn't it true? Like walking down the hall of any school in America, you can look into some classroom and we all admit, we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, that woman is so much better than me. Like, and I'm supposed to be the speaker, or like you're supposed to be the principal. Like they are clearly, it's not even questionable. That woman is amazing. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are just so many great, talented educators out there.
And don't you want to be like, I want to be in their class.
Yeah.
Like there's days I sit in some classrooms and I'm like, I don't want to leave. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Like, I don't want to leave this classroom. So it still fuels that fire. And I think it's important as administrators that we remember, and you have this whole, help a teacher. I think we need to remember what it was like to be in the classroom, because right now more than ever, I feel like I need a clone to help support. I just want my teachers to feel supported and that we're all in this together. Like it is not, no one's perfect at it. We learned some lessons on Zoom, what not to do and what not to let kids do and what filters need to be put on. you learn as you go. But like within, 2 weeks, 3 weeks span, we've been up and rolling online and on a completely Canvas, our LMS, and like just rock and roll, right? I mean, who does that? Like completely flip the educational world upside down through everything online, and they're still able to balance their families and and teach online. I think that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. I know people, what people don't know is we had some technical challenges. And so Heather has absolutely no idea what these comments, no, she doesn't even know if this is really happening. I could be faking this whole thing for all she knows. But some of these comments coming up are just amazing. It's so many teachers just celebrating. And, when Stacy Johnson put, when you said it's going to be epic, Stacy wrote, it's going to be HP. And, just those types of things. And Amber, she says, I want to be HP when I grow up.
They all got HP in there. Nobody needs a lot of HP on stream.
What was it for in terms of leadership? So many principals watch this for you. And I think there's that jump of because you can't lead the same way when you have 50 or 60, when you have 250, it's just, as much as we want to give that individual personal time and attention and actually deliver the sonic slushies ourselves, you just can't deliver 250 of them yourself. How do you make that shift?
You use your team. You build a team. Like as an administrator, you have to have a team. My administrative team, like rock stars. We have 5 APs and an associate, and it's divide and conquer. We are out with carts. You take that side, I take this side. We're handing out, delivering, just getting all hands on deck. And I think you can't do it by yourself. If you think you're going to be a show and everybody's like, HP's a whole lot. HP's a whole lot. HP is a whole lot, but HP has a lot of keepers. There's a lot of people that help HP. So this is not a one-woman show, I assure you. Kids help us, but my admin team just jumps in and helps, from secretaries everywhere. And when I say admin team, it's not just administrators. Like you're talking about secretaries, all hands on deck. Just anybody, my testing coordinator, KT, all of them, Veronica, they just like jump in and help. And so some of the stuff that was important to me, Hal, was team building. And it will always be important, because when I came to George Ranch, one of the things, when you have 240 people in your building every day, adults in your building, you don't know each other. And so we created this is us wall. So everybody's pictures up there with a quote and what they teach. And it's in the front office. Now it's like a Plinko board. It's all on the ground right now because the air conditioner's been turned off because we're not there. So we're gonna have to put them back up. But it has this wall of 240 pictures on the wall, and that's pretty crazy cool. And every other Wednesday, we do Workshop Wednesday, and we have a team building aspect in that, because getting to know each other and build the community outside of your department is so important, because you need everybody, and that cross-curricular connection, all that, so important.
Hey, I'm going to tell you a quick story, and why I love all that you have going on is I was teaching in a high school, and I've been there for years. And this is, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, when that whole teen leadership thing and Flippin was doing his deal. And I went to the Capturing Kids Hearts, and I do the thing where you have to go for a couple of nights and stay there and pretend you like the other people in the group. And I remember being there. And I remember, on the first day you show up and you have to give a speech, right?
Right.
And so I give a speech and I sit down, and a lady at some point, there's maybe 100 of us there. She gives up and she starts giving a speech, and she's talking about her school. And I was like, man, I got a lot in common with that lady. And she'd been there for 4 years. And I'm thinking about that. And she kept going on about her school. And I was thinking to myself, I need to talk to that lady. It sounds like we have the same demographics, the same. She taught at my school. We've never seen each other. We have been there for 4 years. I never heard of her. She's never seen me, because we have different lunches. Because of the size of the faculty, we have separate faculty meetings. She would go to the early one. I went to the late one. We had different everything. And here's the saddest part. We had the same, we shared kids. We taught kids in the same grade and had kids in common. Never knew. So sad.
It is. And that's, I think that is a huge piece of that, building that community within your school. And one of the things, I surveyed the staff when I came in, and they said, what do you need from me? I asked them, what can I do to continue making George Ranch be the best it can be? Because George Ranch has been open for 10 years, and it's a great school, great people, amazing staff, great parents, community, all of that. But I asked the staff, what do you need from me? And they said, well, we don't really know each other because we're so big, right? So that's what we focused on. Every single thing. That's why team building is key, because sometimes you're walking like, what in the world are we going to have to do as a team builder? I know they roll their eyes sometimes at me. If they're on here, they will tell you that. But when you actually get involved in it, you're kind of like, that's not so bad, because I've been doing one-on-ones with my teachers now. And so I have 185 of those 240 are teaching units. So I'm doing one-on-ones with all of them to kind of just have some feedback, some personal feedback with us. And I think I'm on like 160 right now that I've hit 5-minute back and forth just talk on Zoom. We've been Zooming. And that's one of the things they're like, that I hear is they're like, I really know people in the building this year. I feel like I like really know people. So that has like lit my fire too. Like, this is why we do this. Even when they're like, oh, another team builder. That is why, because I'm hearing that over and over again.
Yeah. Somebody, I'm looking at the comments, and somebody wrote something that was really awesome. And it was something along the line is, yes, great leadership is giving awesome teachers opportunities to be awesome. And, in terms of the building principle, it's everyone. It's giving, APs, awesome APs, rock star APs, opportunities to be rock stars, giving our food service workers opportunities to be amazing, the nurse, the secretaries. And that's what I love about the Poly Ryan, the campuses you've been a part of, is helping everybody understand, like, listen, man, we've got a zillion job titles on this campus, but we all share the same role, whether it's the secretary or whether it's the nurse, it's a classroom teacher, or working in the AP's office. We're all here to change a kid's life. That's it, all together.
Appreciation, right?
I want,
and showing appreciation.
That's
and
by the way,
it's not hard.
By the way, you probably aren't surprised, but your friend Cray is lurking around in the comment section, and he's telling me, hey, and he's also saying, he's telling me, I love you more than I love HP.
He's sick. He is a crazy Cray. That's why his name is Cray. But how what you said too is like, with teacher appreciation, we have staff, and I don't call it teacher appreciation. I call it staff appreciation, because I think it's really important that we recognize everybody on that campus during that week. And so that's coming up, and that's a virtual challenge, right? So you have not only we're trying to figure out how to do graduation and these cool things for these seniors, we have to appreciate the staff still. And so we have some pretty cool stuff coming up for that too. But I think it's important, the verbiage that you use when you say it's teacher appreciation, it should be staff appreciation, because it takes the whole campus, from cafeteria to custodial staff to front office to administrators to teachers to paras to librarians to everyone to make your campus the best.
Yeah. You know what it is everyone asks when I'm, speaking at conferences, all that stuff, and I'm talking to principals, whether it's or superintendents, and they always ask, well, tell me what you see around the nation. Like, what is it about this school or that school or this district or that district? What makes it so special? And here's what it is those schools that have that school culture that everybody wants. What it is every single person on that team, everyone I'm talking the principal all the way through custodian, food service workers, nurse, teachers, everyone is individually and solely convinced that school culture is entirely up to them and them alone. Everybody on campus believes it. But I also tell them the foundation upon which that is built is appreciation. The reason they do that and the reason they feel that way is because they feel loved, they feel connected, they feel significant, and they feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's why I survey and I do things like that to get feedback. And you have your people in the building that I know are my real level-headed people that don't get all wound up over some things. Not me, but just kind of get wound up over some things. And you check their pulse, right? And if those people, their stress is high, the whole campus is going to be high. So you always know that's kind of like, those are my, that one's seeming a little stressed. I need to do something. It's just a trigger for me to make me realize that it's time to kick up the appreciation a little bit more.
Yeah. Hey, your friend Creighton, he is now apologizing. Apparently, he's saying, in all honesty, the best leaders think selflessly to take care of others. HP is a model leader, and I'm thankful to get to work with her.
Now he's sucking up. Now
Yeah,
he's sucking
exactly.
up.
We know how that dude works. It's no secret.
Oh, Cray, we still love you. It's okay, both of us.
Right. Hey, when you start planning out, like I know it's not next year, but this is part of the deal. We have multitasking going on. Like in central offices, they're trying to figure out how to get laptops, and they're trying to plan for August. And so for you, you have your kids now, your teachers now, you have seniors you're trying to do something epic for, and in the back of your mind, what I'm wondering is, how do you go from here? What I'm really hoping is if there's a way maybe on campus that we can get our kids reconnected with teachers before we matriculate them to the next grade. I mean, is that even possible at those big schools like that?
I am hoping everything, if nothing else, because the seniors aren't going to be with us, if we can focus on that and get those kids back reacclimated, at least at some one time where we can have that last closure for them, memory making for them. The other kids are coming back to us, right?
Yeah.
The economy, there's just lots of scary stuff going on in there. I've had 3 or 4 brand new kids come into us. People are having to move in to a school that's not even open because of jobs for parents and things like that. So the biggest push right now is, or the word that comes to me more than anything else is grace. Let's show grace. Show the teachers a little grace. They're trying the best they can. Show the parents a little grace. They're trying the best they can to be a homeschool teacher, and it's not working out. Mine's not working out for homeschool teachers. And just a little grace on the kids, because guess what? Their world's turned upside down too. They need that. I mean, when they're telling me they'll wear their lanyard if we can come back, that's a pretty good sign that they want to come back.
Yeah. That whole grace thing is so true, man. It's so, and I really, I've been wanting to do this. I work with lots of schools and districts, and we're trying to, just to keep teachers engaged and remember what they're here for and why they do this. So I'm on Zoom a lot. I really wish I could record the screen just for 10 seconds so people could see. Teachers are at home, they have their own kids, and they're doing life, and things are happening, and they're solving issues and solving problems. Yet here they are on screen teaching kids, working with their own kids, and then and trying to have some professional development and stay connected with the rest of the school family. I mean, it is that whole concept of, let's just do the very, very best we can. And at some point, we're going to have some closure here, and then together, collectively, we're going to take a step into the future. And I cannot wait for everybody to come back together.
I can't. Like, schools are energy. People are energy. I mean, you're the same as me. We thrive on being this. I am not a good introvert at my house at all. That's why I think Zoom. We do a staffy hour on Fridays where our staff, anybody that wants to, can come in, and I do some drawings and do some fun stuff and do challenges throughout the week. We did some Twitter love challenge last week to our kids. I wish my students knew, and they finished the sentence. And just keep throwing that love out to those kids, and staying connected with them, because I think that's important, and staying connected to your staff. Just doing some fun kind of team builders on Zoom. And I've had some colleagues that have come up with some really fun stuff. So I love sharing with my colleagues, because I'm so blessed to have plenty of people to say, jump on that crazy train, and oh, you got to try this. This was so funny on Zoom.
Right.
So.
Hey, real quick, before we wrap it up, here's what I want to know. If you could stand before, here's what's happening is we're going to have a little bit more turnover than we have had in the past, and there's going to be a whole bunch of brand new teachers standing before kids in mid-August, September. And if you were on Zoom right now, because these kids they're not student teaching anymore, they're just having online classes with their professors who haven't seen the inside of a public school in the last 30 years. What words, what would you share with them as they're thinking about getting their career started next year?
Keep going. Just keep swimming. What we've learned is that we can teach online. Through all of this, we found some ways to flip some learning, right? And we've made some mistakes. And I think as long as you're trying, even though you're making mistakes, it shows you're trying. Yeah. So that's what I would tell them. Mistakes are growth. You make a mistake, you're like, not doing that again. And you turn the other direction, and you learn from it. So just try. Yeah. Always try. And honestly, they're going to be able to come in and do probably better than some of us with technology, to be honest. So bring some of their skill sets and be able to share and be and just embrace that change is hard for everybody, the old ones and the new one. I'm an old one, so I can say that. So that's just something that I would tell them.
Yeah, it's funny as you were talking about technology. I was thinking about me and you took 30 minutes just to get this call with three different devices.
Could probably teach us how to do that in 5 seconds.
All right, last question. Tell me your favorite. If you could have every teacher on the planet read 1 or 2 books, what would they read? And every school leader on the planet read 1 or 2 books, what would it be?
Well, I love, of course, I love Ron Clark. So anything.
Oh, you and your boyfriend.
I know, my edge of boyfriend. Any like his Essential 55, love that.
Yep.
But his Move Your Bus book, that is great for teams. This last Jimmy Costa's Culturalize, that's a great book. And my last we did Relentless this year with Hamish Burr, and that book is fantastic. And the last one, Kids Deserve It. Todd Neslony. That book's amazing too.
Yeah, those dudes are all awesome. I love it. Love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us with it. And it's just been awesome. And I'm so proud of your work and how you do your business and just all that you give to your teachers and your kids. It's just made such a difference in their lives. And I'm just so thankful that they have you and your whole team over there. Well,
I'm just humbled that you asked me to be on here. So thank you for highlighting all the great things that are going on with my team.
Yeah, awesome. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.